All right, man. So we need to talk about this. Yes, this work of art, this masterpiece right here. We need to talk about this. And if you can understand this and what I'm about to tell you, then you could potentially be saving yourself a decade of time and money spent. So if you're in college right now, or you are planning on going back to college or going for your first time, if you're struggling right now to stay motivated in college and you're not really feeling it, you don't feel enjoyment from the process, or if you're about to go to college and you're looking at the list, like the list they have of different subjects, and you can't pick one because you don't know what you should do, then there's really one main reason that this is all happening. And it's the same reason that caused me to drop out. And that reason is that you're not interested in the path in front of you. So on top of not being interested in the path that's in front of you, you're about to go spend tens of thousands of dollars on this journey, and also spend years of your life on something that you don't actually enjoy doing. And this was the exact position I was in. So basically, I went to college and I was doing it mostly because people around me and society were saying, "Hey, this is a great path to go down." And at the time, I didn't really have a plan for my future, and I was working jobs that I didn't really like. So I was like, "Hey, well, I might as well, if people are saying this is what you do, this is what I should go do." And the issue that I faced was when I first went and started the process of actually signing up, I saw the different list they have of all the different subjects that are available. It's not that big of a list, right? It's pretty small. It can be pretty small depending on the college you're going to, but I didn't really see anything that was super intriguing to me, or that I was super interested in. So I had a feeling that this might not be right for me. When I saw that list of all the different subjects and degrees that you could get, and I didn't feel one that was really pulling me in, that I was really interested, I just thought to myself, this might not be the right path. And so what I did was I took the lowest risk possible. I went down the route that would be the lowest risk, and that was to go to a small community college and just to test this out and see if it was something that, I like to do. And so I didn't sign up for any like huge college or anything. I didn't go to some private 4-year university and move all my shit, but I just went to a local community college that I could do some in-person and online classes. And so I picked, at the time, I think it was the IT. It was like something to do with like IT, and like computer programming, because my thinking process was, okay, there's nothing I'm super interested in on here, but I do have a little bit of knowledge with computers, and I know that, programmers make a lot of money, right? They make a lot of money. People in tech, they can make like six figures. And so my thinking process back then was, let me just go for the money, since there's nothing I'm like super interested in, which that in and of itself is a whole nother video of why you shouldn't do that. But basically, so I started on that path, and eventually I realized that this wasn't going to work. I was about a semester or 2 semesters in, and I just realized that, what am I doing here? Like, why am I even here? I didn't really enjoy what I was doing. I didn't enjoy the major. And essentially, the class was so slow that, as a self-paced learner, I really like to learn on my own and kind of take go my own pace at things when I'm learning. And so I ended up dropping out. I really only put in, I think, maybe 2 semesters. Maybe it was only one. I don't even remember. But I ended up dropping out because I realized this is not going to get me where I wanted to go. I thought of my future. I looked into the future and I saw, okay, if I go through with this and I actually achieve it, where am I going to end up? And I saw that I was going to end up basically working in the corporate world, programming computers, fixing computers. And yeah, I would make good money, but I wouldn't really enjoy life. I wouldn't be enjoying life. I wouldn't be happy. I'd be sitting in a cubicle or in an office in an artificial setting, not really being able to do what I like to do. Now, the interesting thing about that, though, is that there's a lot of people, maybe even if you're watching this video, to you that sounds like a great job. That's something that you would really enjoy. And so the difference is that for me, it wasn't something I was truly interested in. And if you're really interested in tech and you're really interested in programming and computers, that sounds like a dream job to you. So it's perfect. It's a perfect fit. But for me, I was trying to chase something that wasn't true to myself. And the point of this story is just to illustrate how society pushes you to get into college, but there's a very limited scope in terms of what you can do. Like, if you go onto their websites and you look at what's available in the curriculum, it's such a small list in terms of the infinite amount of things you could do on this planet, right? It's such a small list, and it's such a confined, boxed in way to be able to make a living. And whereas you could literally do anything on this planet and make a living. And so the way that I got out of this and the way I changed my mindset around this whole thing was to basically ignore college. If you're someone who looks at that list of subjects that are available and degrees that you can get, and they don't really spark your interest. And I don't mean in the sense of, you know, oh, it's going to be a really well paying, high paying job, like 100,000, 200,000 a year. I'm thinking, like, when you think about it, take a moment and just think, if I had all the money I needed in the world right now, or if this job, didn't even pay me any money, would I still be interested in this subject? Would I still be interested in learning about this? And there's a fair amount of people who that's true for. They actually are interested in what's available, but there's a large group of us who don't actually like what's available and we aren't really interested in it, but we do it just because society says, go do this. And we do it because we need money. And that is a pursuit that will lead you down the wrong path in life. So if you're at this point and you feel like you're resonating with this message, you resonated with my story of feeling as though I'm kind of being squeezed into this little box and I'm not really interested in what I'm doing. I'm just doing it for the money. And you don't really want to be there, then really the best thing you can do is just to quit. Now, at the time when I quit, I had an idea of where I was heading. So that was really helpful. And I was still working full time. So, I was able to pay my bills and everything. But basically, what you can do instead is, and I wish I had known this at the time, which I was following this, but I wasn't really consciously aware of it, which is why I'm making this video. But what you can do is, instead of following the structure, the old system that society wants you to follow, instead what you do is you follow what you're truly interested in. That could be sports, it could be finance, it could be real estate, it could be fishing, hiking, whatever it is. It doesn't even matter. It can be something you don't even think is possible that you could make any money from. That's the part you don't want to think about. Don't think about whether or not this thing is really going to make money right now. The point is, pick a few interests that you truly enjoy doing without the thought of money and follow those. Go deep into those. Start researching, start learning about them. Now, at the same time, you're probably asking yourself, well, how am I supposed to make money and make a living off of this? If I'm not going to college and I'm not going to have a high paying job, how am I supposed to survive in this world? Which is exactly what I was trying to figure out. And the best thing I've come to as a conclusion to that question, and which is working for me and what I'm doing and actively working towards, is follow what you're truly curious about and what truly interests you. And what you do is you connect. Now that we have, so what we have now with the internet is the ability to connect with millions of people across the globe that are literally interested in the same thing that you are, right? There's millions of people out there who are completely like aligned with what you enjoy doing in life. And so now with the internet and this access to so many more people across the whole world, you can find your group of people who are interested in what you're interested in. What you do is within your domain of interest, right? In your domain of curiosity and what you really are actually interested in. What you do is you go into there and you find problems. You find problems and you solve those problems. And once you've figured out how to solve those problems, all you do is you find people on the internet, okay, who are interested in what you're interested in and who are looking for the solution to the answer that you have, and you just give it to them. This is how you create a living for yourself doing anything. Like it's just crazy because you don't have to, it doesn't have to be even in anything that you think would make money, right? There's people who are super interested in sports like basketball. They learn how to do a specific thing and they start a business around that thing through the internet and connect with millions of people across the world who are also very interested in basketball and need the answer to that question. So it can be literally anything that you want. And since we're all different in the sense of we all have different interests and we all have different ways of going about those interests, there's always a group of people out there who you can resonate with. And so no matter where you are, I think that if you ignore the path of going down college, unless it's something where you're one of these people who are really lucky and you happen to really fit in with the subjects that are available. Like if you're super into like programming, okay, well, like you're fucking lucky because you got to go into something where you can learn it in college and then you can take that and go make like a good career for yourself. But again, if you're one of those people who's, even if you're just on the edge and you're just like, it's not really that enjoyable, why waste the time? Why waste the time, the money, and the headache of spending years doing something you don't really like? You might as well follow what you're truly interested in and become the best at that. And then you will have all the options in the world through the internet to share that with people and to make money. Now, the downside of this and the some of the hardest parts to get over of following this path is it's much more of an unknown. And some people might call this entrepreneurship. There's a lot of different names for it, but basically the point is this is a path of high risk, high reward in the sense that you're going to be very responsible for what happens in your life. Okay. You're not going to be able to just get funneled through a degree and then happen to end up in a job. You know what I mean? It's not going to work that way. You're going to have to create literally your own reality. So you have to have, I would say, some sympathy and compassion as well as being resilient and steadfast about your decision because your family and society and your friends are probably going to challenge you on this. They're probably going to tell you it's a bad idea. You shouldn't do it and it's too dangerous and you should just go and follow this path and make money and you're crazy, right? That's possible. And you might be lucky in the sense you got people around you who are very supportive, which would be awesome. But for a lot of you, you're going to face immense challenges going through that. Along with dealing with the people in your life who are going to be doubting you, you're going to be dealing with self-doubt about this because you're going to be seeing not many people around you are doing this. This is kind of weird, man. This is kind of sketchy, right? You're going to be, maybe I should just go back and take the safe route. And your brain is going to come up with basically reasons why you shouldn't do it. Because if you think about it, what's happening, especially when you leave something like that, is it's socially acceptable and good when you actually like when you go to college, right? And you can go around telling people, oh yeah, I'm studying to become a computer programmer. Oh yeah, I'm studying to become a lawyer or a doctor. It's almost like an increase in status because you're leveling up in the eyes of others in terms of like the career you pick. You could be like, oh, I'm becoming like a scientist or whatever. And so when you leave that and you come back into the real world, you're kind of just like a nobody. You're just an adult who needs to find a job and needs to find a way to survive. And so that's a kind of a temporary decrease in status. But if you think about it, it's also a long-term increase in terms of your happiness and your fulfillment in life because you're going to be following things that are true to you and that are very interesting to you and that actually make you curious. And so, yeah, just watch out for people trying to tell you that you shouldn't do it because they're gonna voice their opinions and you're gonna have self doubt. But don't let that stop you because the important thing to remember is you're doing this for the long term. Yeah, it's probably gonna suck and you're probably not gonna make much progress right off the bat. But over years of working on this, following your true interests and curiosities, you're gonna arrive at a point where even if you don't get rich, you're gonna be living a life that is so much more fulfilling and enjoyable than like 99% of people because most people are just following what the system says to do. They never challenge the status quo. They never think outside the box. So you're going to be one of the few who can actually live life to the fullest. The other great thing about following this path and doing it this way is I think you're going to make the most impact and in the best way that you can on this planet. Because if we all follow what makes us truly curious and what we're truly interested in, that's how we become really good at a particular thing, like whatever your skill or craft is. And then that's how you can contribute back to humanity in a way that is the most impactful. Because when you follow what's true to yourself and what you're truly interested in, that's when you're staying up late doing that extra research and going deep into a subject and discovering things that other people don't know about. And then you can bring it back to the human race as sort of like a new thing that you found, right? Whereas if you just follow the route of, oh, I'm just going to do what everyone else is doing because it makes money, or you know, uh, I don't know what else to do, then essentially you're just a carbon copy of everybody else, and you're not really unique. You're not any different, and you're not really gaining any extra knowledge. And then on top of all that, there's just the extra benefit of the economics of it, where number one, your time isn't going to be wasted because you're going to be spending it on something you're actually curious about and really like pumped up to like enjoy and study. And you're going to be making money faster and probably more money. And you're going to save a lot of money. You're not going to go into debt. And so that's really my argument for it. That's my argument for it. That's what I'm working towards. And I think there's going to be really sort of a revolution that happens where people are going much more down this path instead of continuing to do what doesn't work, racking up debt, and continuing to study and get into things that they don't even enjoy. It doesn't make any sense. And there's no reason for it now that we have the internet and that we can basically just create what we want through the internet. It makes no sense. This whole process is really a big part of the journey I'm going through right now. And a big part of what my channel is about is documenting the process and hopefully that I can share the knowledge along my journey to help you who's watching to get there faster and be able to figure out some of these things. So that's why I dropped out of college and why I think if you're not one of the rare few who actually clicks perfectly with their major or subject that's offered at your college, that you should consider going down the path of following your true curiosity, interest, doing whatever you have to do in the meantime. You're probably going to have to work, yeah, but in the future, you're kind of making a sacrifice where right now it's going to kind of suck, but at least you can do the things you like. And eventually, if you keep following them, you'll get so good at them that you can leverage it through the internet to make yourself a full-time income. Because every day you want to wake up, you want to be excited about what you're learning. You want to be able to go into your, classroom or into your college class and be like on fire about what you're learning. This is awesome. Like, I'm actually pumped up to learn about this. If you're not feeling that, you're probably going down the wrong path, or you just not been on the right path from the start. So that's all I really want to say for today. Hopefully this will help you out if you're stuck in the position I was stuck in, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.